Hello everyone, I'm Naval Yamul. Welcome to my YouTube channel, The Data Master. So in this video, we're going to see how to deploy a SQL database resource in your Azure account. So let us go to our Azure portal. That is portal.azure. And so let me go to my SQL databases, or you can just type SQL on your search bar here, SQL databases, and you can click on this. So I do not have any SQL databases in my Azure account now. So let me start creating one. So let me click on create SQL database. Once I click on it, so it will ask you few basic questions here, like go for the subscription. So I have an Azure Pass as my subscription, so I'll pick it up. The resource group, so if you want you can click on the new resource group. It's just like a container. So I have one resource group, that is Databricks. So I'll pick up the Databricks resource group. Now it will ask you for the database name. So let me pick up the database name as ny database. Okay, so with my name, I have created a database. It will ask you to select the server, but there is no server here. So for that, you need to create a server first, and then on that top of that server, you need to create a SQL database. So I do not have a SQL server now. So let me click on create a new SQL server. So it will ask you at the first, what would be your server name? So let me write again ny server. Yeah, it is checking whether the name is already, yeah, this name is already there. So let me take nly server. Yeah, so my server name is nly. And where do you want to deploy this server? Do you want to deploy it in your east us or which region? So let me keep it as a east us only, the recommended one. And it will ask you for the authentication method. So let me choose the authentication method as a sql use SQL authentication. So I will have to assign a server admin login password and I need to confirm it. So using an Active Directory, maybe that is a different authentication method, but let me choose SQL authentication. So I'll just set up few of my things here. So I'll give a server name again, NLY server, and here I'll set some password here. Yeah. Yeah. So once I enter the password, let me click on OK. So it has selected the server. You can see server. Now the server what we got is very costly here. You can see it is for a general purpose core, which is costing you, which is they are giving two cores here, so which is costing you around 29,000 per month. That is huge. So let me switch it from the workload environment from production to development. So let me switch it to development, and now in the development you can see the amount would drastically change. So now it is general purpose with maximum storage as in GBs, and you can see the estimated storage cost would be around this much and the compute cost would be around this much. So now we are using a development workload environment, and just in case if you want to still configure, you can just go to configure the database where you can choose your compute and storage. So you can just see here we have minimum course, maximum course you can change, and you can see all the details here. But now let me keep it as default. You can change it. You have many other options also, like if you go for the basic also, you get a DTU as your unit for SQL database. Let me change this, or you can just cancel this. So I think this will be sufficient for us for working on the development mode. And do you want any backup? So you can take a backup or locally redundant or zone redundant or geo redundant. So this is within the zone or this is within the geographical location. So I don't need any backup. So I'm not dealing with any critical scenario. So let me keep it locally redundant. Let me go to the next point, that is networking. So here it will ask you for the connectivity method. So do you want it to others to access your SQL database? So you can just keep a public endpoint. And once you click on the public endpoint, it will ask you to set some firewall rules, like allow Azure services and the resources to access this server. So we are creating an Azure servers, and whether you want to access your other Azure services for this SQL database. So I want yes, so you can just make it yes, and add a current client IP address. So I want to use this IP address. So let me make it this also as S. Then I'll not go and do any certain changes here. Let me go to the next point as a security. So here you will get like enable Microsoft Defenders for SQL. Let me keep it not now, and let me go. Yeah, let me go to some additional settings. I am just searching for a sample data. Yeah, you can see here. So in the data source option, here you get one use existing data, and now let me pick a sample database for me. So when you click on the sample database, they are like your Azure are giving us a adventure works database for us, where you can do some practice on top of that. So let me click on create, go for the next tag. So if you have like key value pair, you can provide that. Now let me click on review and create. So it will cost you this much. You can just look at the cost. You can just recheck everything, and then everything looks fine. Then you can click on create. So after reviewing it, you can just click on create. So this deployment takes few minutes, maybe 2 to 3 minutes. And once it is deployed, then we'll try to access that. Yeah, you can see here our SQL database has been deployed. So it took almost 3 to 4 minutes. So let me click on go to the resource now. And here, okay, let me go back to the home page and I'll show you. So here is your SQL database with a name called NY database. Let me click on it. Yeah. Okay, let me show you the SQL server first, and then okay, so you can just go to your resource group. Inside that resource group, you will have one SQL server. Just now we have created it with a name called NLY SQL server. And if you just scroll down somewhere, yeah, you can see here in that SQL like NLY server, we have NY database. So let me click on it. So you can go for a query editor here. Let me click on it. So it will ask you for the password what we have set it. So let me write it here. Let me click on OK. Yeah, so once you are into your SQL database, here you can see your tables. So if you remember, by default, or we have chosen a sample database of your adventure works sales. So we got all the tables related to that, and then you can you got all the views also, and your stored procedures also. So you can work with this, and even you can connect this database to your SQL server. So how to do that, I'll explain that in the next video. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share it with your friends, hit the thumbs up button. See you in the next video, guys. Keep learning.